Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of WhoCast. We're here with Tom Ko, we're here with Manny, and then we're here with
Cosmic Dan.
Cosmic Dan.
So status quo, Taiwan. He's ranked 15th in Indiana and Wisconsin. He didn't know that.
APFC.
APFC recently won a fight. Currently 2-0. So, what started? Why'd you want to start?
What really got me into fighting, I think it was when I was in Taiwan because at school I was a terrible student. In my grade, I would have 168 students, and I would be ranked academically 168. And I would fail classes and have to retake an exam over the summer so I can pass the class on paper. But since I wasn't doing a lot of academic work at school, I have a lot of time to do other crap. And one of the things I'll get into is just fighting with other people. And even though I'll fight a lot and I know it's not a good thing, I always kind of enjoyed it. I was like, that's kind of this is kind of fun, you know.
Yeah.
Even though it's bad. But eventually I saw a UFC video on Facebook, and I was like that looks kind of like the thing I do, except it's professional, like a job. And I was like, maybe I would, if I'm gonna fight a lot, might as well look cool doing it when I was pretty good at it. So I walked into a gym, and an MMA gym, just some random one I looked up on Google. I met a coach, and then the next day I went to the training. And then I had a great training session. It was fun. We sparred, and when we sparred, that's when I got a reality check. I got humbled. I felt like I probably got concussed a little bit from fighting. And sometimes when you just sometimes you had a bad day, you're just going home really quiet in the car. You're just there thinking about your life. I'm just that night I was literally just sitting in front of my desk, nothing on the desk, empty, just looking. I was like, dang, what happened? And it was crazy because in school I would win fights, and that's it's cool, but in a gym I had no chance. I had no chance. So I was like, that's crazy. I literally don't know what happened. So I went back again to try to figure out what happened. And through the process, actually, I gained a lot of confidence because as I go back to figure out what happened, what went wrong, I got to figure out my mistakes, and I got to fix it and got to get better at not making mistakes. And that actually helped me build my confidence because in school I wasn't having success at all. But in the gym, I would find success. I can see myself improving, and I think that's what really started my passion for MMA, because I feel like I can learn how my body moves really well compared to other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, so kind of the success and the path just kind of inspired you?
Yeah, at the start it was just the confidence building of dang, I can do something good besides school.
Yeah.
But also other things that really drives me to MMA. There's a lot of things I love about MMA. Okay, this is actually getting me into the zone because, when you fight, especially in MMA, in boxing you hit with your hands, in kickboxing you can kick, in jiu-jitsu or wrestling you grapple, but in MMA you do all of it. And because you can do all of it, you can be so creative with it. You can do whatever you want, basically. The least amount of rule that can restrict you from fighting in a safe manner. In a sanctioned way, I guess. There's a lot of other fights going on, but and I just find that really fun because I get to move my body however I want, and I get to be as creative as I want, and I get to kind of feel my opponent's energy and kind of almost play with it a little bit. It's like a chess game. It's I'm trying to figure out what's his habit. Maybe I'm trying to build him a habit that he doesn't know about and then break that habit. In my last fight, I kicked my opponent repeatedly in the leg, and I kick it from the other side. So he's now he's attacking my leg from both sides. And I circled the way to the middle ring, and I was like, psych, I'm not kicking him to the leg anymore, I'm going to the head. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at a picture, he actually was checking the leg kicks when I kick him in the head. And that's a recent example why I think fighting is really fun, because you can set people up, you can trying to figure out what their habit is, what they're kind of almost as a person. You get to know a lot from another person from just sparring or fighting or just drilling with them. And part of it is just, it's I guess it's problem solving in a advanced game with your body for me.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about fighting. Another thing I like about fighting is the crowd, because when you're a fighter, you're you're entertaining, basically. Like, if you think about, I kind of think of it like a gladiator, because you have people watch you fight each other, and your job is to entertain them. And I love the energy when you have in the ring, because when you go to a ring, all the eyes on you. You decide what happened next. It's all you. And like, it could be a lot of pressure, but at the same time, you're basically making history when you have so many eyes watching you. Like, they are here for you, and you get to decide what happens. Yeah, that's like that's like that just gets me so hyped up, and I love it. And I think part of the reason why I really enjoy fighting is also just because you get to meet so many people through fights, and you get to enjoy the crowd, you get to perform for them, and then afterward people are like really happy for you, because even if you lost, all the work that you put in is outside of the cage. And as long as you put in the work and you make that walk to the cage, you're in the cage, you put in your work in the cage, no matter win or lose, you try your best. And that's like, at the end of the day, that's what really matters. You try your best at something, and what you really learn is what you learn along the way. Like, a result is a result, but you can learn a lot from a result, but what you learn through your experience, if that makes sense.
I mean, you're like 2-0, so you can see the amount of work you're putting in. Like, you went from unanimous decision, and then you said the other fight was like 65 seconds, something like that. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, would you...
Quick finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, like, you're a student here at Oakton, too. Like, we wanted to talk about, like, how do you balance that? You know what I mean? Like, you got that, and then you got this, like...
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have a very supportive team. 3D Martial Art is a gym I train out of and fight out of. Actually, it was after my last fight, we decided that going pro is a realistic probability. So me and my coach sat down when I was registering for classes, and we talked over, like, okay, at what time of the day and what days of the week I'll have classes, and what time of day I'm free to train. So we would do that, and that's kind of how I structure my training for fights.
So you sit down with your coach to talk about classes.
Yeah, actually, and I actually talk to him about my classes a lot. I connect a lot of my life outside the gym in the gym, because if I'm doing fighting as a career, then it's gonna be a huge part of it's gonna be part of my life. So might as well. I'm giving everything to the gym, and I'm leaving everything in the gym as well. But it's nice. I'm really lucky to have a supportive team and my coach to help me plan my classes, and that works out well, because through the gym you also have a lot of connection. Like, this fight, I move a lot better because I started a strength and conditioning program, and through that program, that's just like another. He was like training in the gym, but he's actually a former strength and conditioning coach. I think he was doing it for Iowa State wrestling and maybe Ohio, but it's like it's super nice, and I'm really lucky to have a lot of supportive coaches to help me throughout.
So, how many coaches do you have?
Right now, I have a jiu-jitsu coach.
You want to drop the name for that one?
Javi,
the jiu-jitsu coach.
The jiu-jitsu coach. He's so smart. I love talking to him because he's like a walking encyclopedia of jiu-jitsu. You can ask him
Just random information.
Anything, any moves, any names, he would know.
Yeah.
And then I have my striking coach, Andrew Ho, which is super nice because he's also Asian.
Okay.
And I feel like we have a connection just being Asian, because it's actually, I haven't met a lot of Asian people in my time in the US, so that's nice for me personally. But he's super smart. He talks about striking in a very conceptual way. So instead of just having specific moves, like we still do specific moves, but we're talking about like your mindset at different situation and different part of the cage or the ring.
Yeah.
How do you pressure? How do you pressure while not getting hit? What do you pressure while making the other person feel like they can't hit you? So he's very smart, and I dedicate a lot of my striking brain and skills to him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
What-
lot is from him.
Yeah, which one would you say you're the closest to? Like, which one is the coach that you sat down with to talk about your
Actually, I
classes?
have more coaches.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
more.
there's more.
There's some more.
And then I have an MMA coach, Dennis Dombrow. 3D MMA is actually Dennis Dombrow Dojo, and I train out of his gym. He is probably like, and to answer your question, he's probably the coach I'm closest to. But I also have my strength and conditioning coach, Jeff. He's also also really close to him because well, between Dennis and Jeff, I go to them a lot. Dennis helped me plan my classes, and Jeff helped me with strength and conditioning, which is, it takes a lot of time to do it. And sometimes when you're overtrained or when you're stressed from school and you go to training, you're like, you just explode. Yeah, like I cry in training just from like training really hard or just like pushing really hard and thinking that it was like, it's just really difficult, and then you're just like a lot of stress on your body and your mind, but you push through and it's good.
Yeah, it's like overwhelming, but it's like just kind of the name of the sport.
Yeah.
A fighting sport, really.
And it's kind of like how deep you can go before you come back and be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned like how you were a student at Oakton, but what are you like trying to achieve here at Oakton?
I am doing a psychology pre-major.
Oh.
Right now, and next semester I'm actually going to UIC. I got accepted right before the fight, which is super good news, and I'm really happy for that. But I'm here for psychology, and yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned how like you basically like, cause it's like close to the gym that you go to. Or
Right. I think connection is a big part of fighting sport, and I actually chose Oakton because I got connected through a couple other gyms here locally. At my senior year of high school, I asked my boarding school if I can drive to Chicago for a week and visit the gyms here. And I did, and I had a really great time, so they invited me back to train with them. So I was like, okay. That gym was originally in Des Plaines. It's called Gregory Boxing. Great gym for boxing if you're ever interested. And the other gym I went to is called VFS. They train a lot of professional fighters. Also a great gym if you want to learn martial arts. High level, very high level. One of the commentators actually from VFS. But anyways, I asked my boarding school in high school if I can come here for a week, and then they invited me back to train. And I was like, okay, that gym's in Des Plaines. Let me look. That gym's in Des Plaines. Let me look around like colleges and universities around Des Plaines. And obviously I'm still looking for a good education, but I wanted to prioritize high quality training, and then second is high quality education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it. I know they have a nice gym over there. I've taken a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like I don't know how big it is, but they have like a nice track over there. Like I have a couple friends over there, so.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, they invited me to go over, but I don't know.
At VFS?
No.
Oh, Gregory Boxing?
UIC.
UIC. Oh, UIC.
I don't know how
Yeah.
far it is.
I think I'll probably take the train. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing where I sit down with my coach again with my classes and figure out the traffic.
Taken the train,
Yeah.
I'm taking that. I don't know. It's a little scary for me.
Train's nice.
You could
I
just
like
do a
train.
Mike Tyson run around the block, you know.
That's what I just run
At
all
4
the way
a.m.,
to
yeah.
UIC. Yeah.
Look, you could do that. But who's like your like fighters like that inspire you?
There's a lot of fighters that inspired me. Originally, it was Conor McGregor. Actually, I would in Taiwan we have like a nap time after lunch, and we're not supposed to have phones even. But I will pull out my phone and I'll put a jacket over my head, and I'll just watch Conor McGregor highlights or his fan-made movies about how he like became like a superstar, and just a bunch of his fights and then other free fights on UFC. So he was like one of the first guy that really inspired me to do MMA. Yeah, and him being as big as he is, I think also to influence other people, like how much he did. I mean, right now he's not a good influence because he like he punched random people occasionally, and it's not great. But he was very aspiring, and very focused on his craft, which I really like. But other fighters I really like are fighters with great movements, footwork, head movement, like T.J. Dillashaw or Cobb Swanson is very explosive. I really like Edson Barboza. He has one of the craziest knockout, also the craziest kick in UFC.
I can attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But
no Anderson Silva though, like.
Oh, and for sure Anderson Silva. Yeah, great strikers. I always love great strikers. And Volkanovski, honestly, he's very impressive because he is able to mix everything up very well.
Yeah.
And that's just his thing. That's like mixed martial art where you mix everything up.
He's a high-level technician in that sense.
Yeah, I agree.
He's very quick in transitioning from
striking,
wrestling, striking, setting it up.
Yeah, and different distance as well.
Yeah, so if you were to like break down your overall standpoint, right? It's not just of like fighting and school, but if you were to mix everything together, like also Volkanovski in a sense,
right.
Like what would you say is your main archetype? Like how do you go about your everyday life if you had to describe it with a person?
How would I describe my everyday life to a person?
Yes, like what would you say your mindset is very similar to, in the sense that like when you wake up in the morning, how do you just prepare yourself for the day and what you have to come? Because you say that every day it's like kind of a struggle and you have to dig very deep. So at that standpoint, like how do you prepare for it?
I think I guess a lot of my mindset that I role model after are people that I meet in my life. Obviously, celebrities are really good inspirations, but I feel like I learn from people better when I'm there in person. So a lot of my role models are like, there are actually a lot of dads.
Yeah.
There's my advisor from high school, a bunch of them, or like my coaches.
Yeah.
And I think I can describe my mindset to you opposed to having like a name.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I would do to prepare for the day, for like a hard day even, is I actually just like I just try to I try to enjoy, I try to love even all the hard work, even though like how many times in your life you get to push through so hard that you're crying just because the hard is not even sad. You're not even sad. You're just crying because how hard it is, but you know you can do it.
Yeah.
How many times in your life you get to do that? And when you're doing
That's
it,
true.
why not enjoy this breakthrough moment of your life, doing something for the first time, pushing yourself as hard as you can for the first time.
Yeah.
And also be really grateful, because it's the same question, like how many times you get to push yourself this hard, and you know after you push yourself this hard, you're gonna get better. And even think of it as like not pushing hard at all. Like even you just progress a little bit. Like for me, I think I love doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
But even just a tiny thing that you progress, just a little thing, it can make you feel a little better. And you just kind of use that as a little motivation to like, maybe you do one thing and that make you feel a little better, and now maybe you do two. And that's kind of how I think about life, I think. I learned this a few years ago when I was fighting, because I'm a striker, and when I first started grappling, I got really messed up. Like I could not move. I was just on the ground like a dead fish.
Yeah.
But like a dead fish, you wiggles a lot. And in grappling and fighting, a lot of it is just you're struggling a lot, even though you're pinned down. But as soon as you're struggling a little bit, you create that little space, that little opportunity. And that little opportunity, once you catch that, can turn into two opportunities, a little more space for you.
Yeah.
And you just capitalize on that and just keep making that space, keep struggling a little bit, just do a little bit and see how much space you create, and use that to go forward.
Yeah. Just kind of like compounding your successes, 1% better each day until
1%
to a
better.
point where you're just comfortable where you are.
Yeah, so I guess being grateful for the small things, but also appreciate when you have a hard day, because not many times you get to have a super hard day where you...
Yeah, I mean, which kind of links to, like, what you said at the beginning, what, like, pushes you, or what started you, like, what made you want to start MMA and all that, like, the motivation and, seeing success and how you progress. Like, that's just kind of what started it, which is what's still keeping you going right now?
Yeah, just tiny progress, and it's nice because I think what makes people really good at something is not necessarily talent, but just consistency.
Right.
Like just small amount. Like even like we were talking earlier about social media promotion, or like if you go interview people on the street, most of the time you're gonna get rejected, and most of the people like will see a reel and then scroll through.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't really care about the people who rejects you. Like people are they're always gonna be haters.
Yes.
But what you're really trying to build is your audiences, and that's like just little bit will build up to huge audiences. And that's I feel like that's also just consistency with posting.
You just gotta build up the hype a little bit, until you get noticed.
Yeah. A lot of it. I think a lot of fighting is also
mental chess game.
Yeah, and you have to have people to watch you. So that's why the hype is kind of important.
Do you think it helps if people are against you? Because I'm more of like a Rocky Balboa guy. Like if people don't like me, it just fuels me more.
For sure. I think.
Are you the same way? Or?
I think I'm used to it. Yeah, I think so because. I remember one of the career defining moment for me was my coach casually texted me if I want to fight in a kickboxing Grand Prix where there's like 8 kickboxers come together, fight 3 times in one night, and we win 10K in the end.
Tournament?
Yeah, it's a tournament.
How long?
It was like a show. It was.
Is it 3 rounds or?
2 rounds.
2?
To go into the championship, and if you're tied, you go for a third.
Is it pads, helmet?
It was no helmet, shin guard, and gloves.
Shin guard, gloves, yeah.
Yeah. And then for that one, nobody knew who I am actually, and I had to move up a weight class for that. I ate as much as I could, and then when I got there, I was like the smallest guy. I was like under 2 kilos, and it was just like. But I was there. I just wanted to fight. I just like to fight.
Right. You just wanted to throw some hands. Completely understandable.
Yeah, 100%. And
what was your meal routine?
My meal?
Like what were you eating?
Oh, dude, I would eat. I could eat everything, man. I would wake up. I would probably eat a bunch of rice and chicken with some good marinated sauces, and then probably I would chill for a little bit, and I'll probably eat another like sandwich, and then I would like chill a little bit more, and then I will probably eat a little more snack, like maybe like a sweet potato. And I'll go to training. That's when I was in Taiwan. When I was in Taiwan, we had lower intensity in training, which allows me to train way longer. So I would just go to the gym, train for like, I would just be there from like 2 p.m. to like 10, and just chill there and train. And I'll come back and then eat a little more. So I was just like eating, training.
Yeah. So now, like when you have like weigh-ins, let's say, do you like now have like proper like meals that you like take in? Like let's say you have a match coming up and you need more muscle mass, so would you like increase your protein intake and just like lessen your carbs?
Yeah, I think a lot of things with nutrition and cutting weight and managing your weight is really you paying attention to how much calorie you're eating, and also if you're getting all the nutrition your body needs, because losing weight is essentially just you putting out more calories than you take in. So if you're able to keep track of that, then you're able to lose weight. And if you need more muscles, maybe you need if you want to keep muscles, maybe you need to work the muscles and also take that protein and carbs. But
don't forget water.
Yeah, water is for sure, man. Water, I love water.
Yeah. It's probably the best thing.
Yeah, it's the best drink.
And just to kind of like go deeper into it, so in fighting, usually the people with a higher fat mass have more energy throughout the fight than the ones that are really lean, because we don't have as many carbs or energy to spend throughout that whole fight. And to also a little bit move on to that aspect, it's very important to slowly exert energy throughout each of the rounds. You don't kind of just jump into it right away, 100% intensity, obviously, because you don't want to burn out. And also throughout the fight, if you're not breathing properly, you'll have less oxygen. That could also lead to other problems. You'll have some shaky feet. You start making mistakes because obviously you're not thinking as well as you were before. And that's all just kind of small aspects that nobody really talks about. And it's not just diet and muscle mass, but it's also just the type of fighter you are. So, for example, you're pretty athletic and light, so you're probably going to have a higher output throughout most of the matches, or like you'll start off a little bit slow, start reading them, whatever, build those habits. But once you start realizing the other guy's starting to get worn out, you start to capitalize by putting up that intensity. And that's why that low intensity 8-hour training is very useful, because you start getting, more conditioned for that aspect compared to like other people that'll have 2-hour training. They don't really understand that.
I think it was really good that you mentioned about like saving your energy for the fight, because like the hard rounds I was talking about earlier, it actually helps you think clearer when you're tired, because when you're really tired and then you don't really know what's going on, when you're confused, you move your body way more and you're using way more oxygen by using your muscle. But if you're able to be used to those hard rounds where you're pushing out, maybe being exhausted, you can actually, like, you're more used to it, and your brain can think more clearly, and you can save more energy by doing that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just had like one more thing to ask, just because it was at the top of my head, but whenever you're in a fight, right, I know that there's some people that get like really mad sometimes, and they start making a lot of mistakes. They'll start throwing some big stuff when they're not supposed to, or they'll let their emotions show on their face when they're in the middle of a fight. Like, how do you control that, or like what's your mental aspect? Do you want to get the other person mad? Because everyone has like a different type of you said Conor McGregor was your like main inspiration. Like, really, he got his fastest knockout by getting the other opponent mad. What was, like, it was like 15-30 seconds into quick. The match, right?
Yeah, he had one of the fastest title finishes.
Right. So do you like also take that strategy, or like what type of different strategies do you see yourself using in the match, like not to get mad or to keep your cool? And then what do you try to force out of your opponent?
During my face-off, so I would be really into trash talking, but I think I will, like, I don't want to do it and then actually have beef with someone else. I would do it if it's like a business, like, okay, we're gonna make this beef, but then that wouldn't be genuine, so I don't really know. So I guess on that trash talking aspect of it, I'm not really sure. I think I'll have to see more trash talking in real life and kind of figure out how it works. But during face-offs and whenever I see my opponent, actually during face-offs specifically, when I look my opponent in the eyes, I'm intense, I'm ready to fight. And my last face-off, I was trying to put fear into my opponent's eye. Like, actually looking at him with the energy that I'm going to hurt this guy. Yeah. And all I really wanted is just him to make a move first. Because as long as, during face-off, if he make a move first, that means I win mentally. That means I pressure him to make a move first. And he did move first. I was like, okay, I got you during face-off. And I'm cool, you know? And then in the fight, before the fight, I try to not have any emotions. And then I would just be like kind of blank. I'll be focused. I'll be thinking about the fight. Actually, every time before I go to training before the fight, I will listen to my walkout song, It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, and get a small Cold Brew Black. Yeah, it was an awesome song. Nice song. And get a small Cold Brew Black, and I'll listen to it and drink at the same time. So every time I listen to that song while I walk out, I can kind of locked in to like the zone I was before the training. But what I do is that I'll do my routine before I go to the venue, and then I'll warm up, get ready for the fight. I'll be kind of blank, and then as soon as they announce and play my music, I'll be like, okay, it's like start time, and then boom, and I just switch up, kind of like switch up a personality, boom, and then there's like the lights and the crowds, and you're just like, everyone looking at you, you're just like, okay, now it's time to just flow. Yeah.
When you're prepared for like, training and all that, do you feel like nervous?
Training, not really. I'm really excited. I love training, actually. I get really excited for it. Yeah, and if, sometimes I know what we're gonna do before training. I'll be like, oh, let's go.
Sometimes it's a surprise, like running the whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
Or we're gonna be doing squat jumps for like 2 hours.
Oh, gosh.
That's really fun.
Legs can't handle that. But if you had to like give a quote like of inspiration, like success, like where you're at right now, like what would you, like what would you say, like, you know what I mean?
A quote. That's a really good question.
You can think about it if you want.
Just come up with one on the spot. Like, what would to inspire people who are like students, like college students who are balancing things like you are on their way to success. Like, what would you say? What would you, you know what I mean?
Yes, I think my quote is be honest with yourself, because only you know when you're working hard and when you're not. And as long as you be honest with yourself, enjoy the process, and just work hard and have fun with it. Like have so much fun, man. We're young and have so much time to work and have fun. Use that chance to work hard, have fun, and be honest with yourself. Like, are you actually working? Are you not? Only you know, and only you can see the result.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful quote. I'm pretty sure our viewers will take that to heart.
We still got time, right? Yeah, we're chilling. All right. I say we switch it up a little bit with the energy, just because it's been a little bit monotone. But I'm trying to just get a little bit of an entertainment factor, if you will, into it. And I just kind of want to just have a regular, Let's exchange highlights. Like, what would you say is your biggest highlight moment so far of your career? What's that one thing that stands out where you're just wow, I wish someone took a video of that, or maybe there is a video of that. If there is, then we'll leave a link in the description.
I would say my last fight was probably one of the career-defining moments for me, where I got to finish my opponent in 65 seconds. Before that was that kickboxing tournament I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew who I was, and everyone thought the other guy was gonna win the whole thing, and I won through split decision. It was a very movie. It felt like it was a movie.
It was a hype moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Underdog.
Real.
Always bet on the underdog.
For sure.
Well, sometimes.
And give it back.
Most of the time,
For sure.
What's that sound?
Fortnite.
Yeah.
I was looking at your clips and I saw you the first fight that I saw before the one. What was it? The 19th Sunday.
19th.
The first fight.
April 23rd. Yeah.
That one I saw and I was like, wow, you just went at that guy and you just kneed him in the face. Did you you just pushed him in the side, and I was like, this guy's really aggressive, and I was like, don't want to mess with him. So
that's that Muay Thai base for you.
Bro, you're gonna teach me a few basics, because I wanted to do boxing, but I don't know, MMA is just seems so aggressive, and it's kind of freestyling kind of. But yeah, what would you say the difference between those two are?
MMA and boxing.
Yeah, which one would you? I mean, you obviously are more biased towards MMA, but
for sure. But I think boxing is a great way for people who hasn't learned martial art before to kind of get into one martial art.
I agree.
And, man, I say this to everybody, boxing is just so fit, and it's always good to learn how to throw a punch and how to move your body well, because in boxing you move your feet so much, and by doing boxing you can have a lot more better control of your body. So I recommend doing that a lot for people who want to learn martial art. I also recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's
I wanted to do that too.
Yeah, I say that's one of the most practical martial arts you can learn, because a lot of street fights ends in grappling and people always have clothes.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You will hope.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But
do you want to argue about it, or
what? People always have clothes on?
No, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu part.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I guess for me, I experienced it myself because I was a huge striker.
Yeah.
And I went to VFS, where they have international level fighters, and a lot of them are good wrestlers. And
but you said in the street though.
Oh, in the street. Yeah, I think so. I think.
Really?
I think
so 1v3, you'd want to be on the ground with one person.
1v3, I would run.
You'd run?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I would probably try to fight, kind of gauge how they are. If they're like, if
Yeah.
I feel like it's a winnable fight, then obviously I love fighting.
But like, if you had to take the chance, like, wouldn't you rather be on your feet if you're versing multiple opponents than like rolling around on the ground?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
So would you
But
agree that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu might not be the number one go-to when you're
I
conflicting with another person?
I think you make a really valid point with like fighting mode with people. You always want to be on the move.
Yeah.
I guess I was kind of thinking 1v1 situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 1v1 situations you probably end up on the ground most of the time because people just grab.
Yeah. I mean, if it's one-on-one, though, and it's, like, someone your own size, I would say you could definitely just decide on what factor you want to go with. But I always see people trying to argue, like, who would win, like, a professional fighter or, like, a heavy body lift, like, weightlifter. Like, that honestly, to me, just doesn't make any sense because, like, these kids look like they're huge and they're, like, all juiced up on whatever they're taking. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, there's a lot of people that do. Anyways, like, if you're put up against a person that is literally training every single day to strategize how to literally take you out and you're just lifting weights, what gives you, like, the idea that you'd be able to just, like, pick them up and slam them, which is, like, the case every single time?
I guess if you've been doing it every day, you'll feel really confident with it. But, I mean, like, everybody gets humbled at one point. I got humbled when I first go to the gym and got beat up.
But just, like, the body weight lifting aspect. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, like calisthenics, just like lifting?
Like, let's say Bradley Martin was to fight you, bro. Like, do you think you could take Bradley Martin?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you my opinion about that.
Clip that.
For you.
It's because in the gym, because I started fighting with this guy, and I've been going to the gym for a while. So what fighting does is just it lowers your ego, all right? But what the gym does, it multiplies it. So like when you get big, you don't even think about it. You just really just think, I'm strong now. I can beat up people. But that's because you're just ignorant, because you don't know, like.
Because you haven't really trained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But until you go to the gym and find out, oh, I'm really not that strong, and I'm not gonna get stronger when I get mad. So there's not really no seeing red, and you know, I'm 260, bro. That doesn't matter when somebody knows how to do martial arts. So yeah. And I wanted to ask one thing. What's your opinion on people who started martial arts like later out in life, like 18, 19?
I think it's great.
It's great. So like, you think there's still like a chance to go amateur or professional in life, like later on?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. I feel like martial art, for sure. Martial arts for everyone. You see people without legs or without one arm to fight. One of the reasons why I really like MMA is because I feel like it's also really inclusive. Like, almost anyone who want to become a fighter will have a chance to step in the ring and fight. And so that kind of comes back to the age question. I feel like, I mean, if you look up, there's some crazy story where I forgot his name. He was a glory kickboxing champion, and he didn't start training until he was like 22 or 23. Yeah. Well, like, I think Deontay Wilder, maybe he trained a little bit later than compared to other boxers, but he beat everybody very quickly just because he was really good. He also was putting in the work. Yeah.
I mean, I get that. Yeah, I understand.
Didn't John Jones start training when he was like 19?
Yeah, I think John Jones started. Yeah, I seen him.
I think he had like
or 20.
A lot of wrestling background though.
Yeah, it says here he was in collegiate wrestling at Iowa.
Oh, that's awesome.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Oh, it's funny. I never got to wrestle in Iowa, actually. I went there because I wanted to wrestle, but my school didn't offer a wrestling program, so I had to email the staff, like, almost every day to go to the gym to drive me to Iowa City if they're happening, I'll go into Iowa City. But it worked out, so it was good. I still got to train.
Train.
Yeah.
That's all we be doing.
Yeah, and have fun doing it.
I have a quick note to add. What do you think about an MMA club in Oakland?
Oh, dude, I mean, I love MMA, so obviously anywhere that want to start like a club or training with MMA, I think is great, especially in Oakland. I bet a lot of people would be interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the same. Cause like if you look around in a lot of colleges, it's always people playing with the ball. It's volleyball or basketball or soccer. Like, I never seen anybody doing any martial art, even the soft ones like karate or something.
Right.
So I just wanted to see your opinion on that.
I think it would be great, man.
Yeah.
And especially since MMA is pretty broad, there's a lot of martial arts in it. People with different interests can also just learn specific things in Oakton through the club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can learn a lot of life lessons through
Yeah.
MMA and just overall any contact sport. It's like you said, humbling.
Yeah, and
Can learn respect, you know.
Yeah, and if you have any let it out in the gym and actually don't fight in the street. Like it's so dangerous. Like
Yeah,
actually,
don't fight in the street, man.
Think about your question earlier. If literally if there's a fight that's gonna happen, I probably wouldn't want to fight because
Especially here.
save the body for the fight or the gym or just save it in general. You don't want no brain damage, guys. Yeah.
You also don't want to get shot, but like I guess we're not thinking about
Stay
that.
safe, guys.
Yeah, stay safe.
That's the problem. Before I started training, you always you have a different mindset when it comes to fighting. Cause like for me, and I had a similar thing where like when I was younger, in my younger days, I used to fight a lot. It's because it's just pure ignorance. That's why I
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, I'm be straight up with that. I got in like a lot of fights like back home. Like I'm Palestinian, by the way, so I get that. It's just pure ignorance. Like once you get to know, there's some people capable of doing, like kicking me or like
Actual
one
harm.
punch and will knock me out. Then you can think twice about getting into a fight. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to add that, you know.
And what if when you fight a lot in the gym, you don't really want to do it outside the
Exactly.
gym. You're like tired. You're
Exactly.
They're like, listen,
Tired,
man,
you know?
Yeah.
you're some light work.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for later.
yeah, yeah. Like, come to the gym with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign this
Okay.
sign this waiver really quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Waivers are important.
Yeah.
Is there like anybody like when the APFC that you want to like you have setting up fights or anything like that? Like, are you thinking about that? Like, when's your next fight gonna be?
In March. Yeah. I guess I don't think I'm gonna talk a lot about the playing for next fight just because we want to keep it a little secret.
Good.
okay.
But
Good,
the
good,
next
good,
one
good.
In March, I think it'll probably be in Indiana, and it's gonna be a really good fight because we're gonna have a hard fight. We're gonna pick someone who would test my skill level a lot. So
You gotta
yeah.
dig deep. Gotta dig deep.
Exciting fight, guys.
I forgot who said this quote, but it goes along the lines of you gotta dig deep and see the darkness until you see the light. It's like a little spark, and then eventually you just like push through, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be I'm like 16-0. Is
Yeah.
it UFC? Is that who's calling me right now?
Dana White,
No way.
Yeah, you know.
But anyways, to summarize, gotta dig deep. What else? We gotta have
Work hard.
that work ethic to always grind through our, tribulations in life, regardless if they're in school, work, our relationships. Talking about relationships, keep role models close, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What else would you say?
And make friends with the people that you want to improve with together, and like also make friends that you can improve and also have fun with, and also grateful people, like people who also would check you when you are not honest, or people will check you when you are slacking off.
Yeah.
People who help each other.
It's kind of building a family like that you want, the people that you want around you.
Yeah, for sure. And then you just have a good time because you're always with the people that want to help you out.
100%.
Yeah, and you want to help them out too. Right.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Status quo, Tom. Very nice
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
It was an awesome podcast.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Thank you.
We're gonna see you eventually. You know what I mean? Live television.
Next
Yes, sir.
week,
Hopefully.
Next fight going on.
We'll stream it
We'll
live.
interview once you get that win.
For sure.
And we'll see you then.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for having me. Nice.
Alright.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much.